ladies, welcome back to my channel. So obviously by the title you all know that today's video is a story time video. You ladies have been really interested in knowing about my experience at Sephora, and I definitely plan on doing a video about like my hiring experience there, the interview process and everything like that, in case any of you want to get on at Sephora. And I definitely have a few more story times too, because them bitches was really trying it. Like, I have had so many crazy experiences there, but today I'm just going to focus on one of my salty ex co-workers. So before I get into this video, if you guys are interested in this makeup look, the lipstick that I'm wearing right now is by Spill Cosmetics. It's this beautiful red color and it's in the shade Scarlet. I do have a code for you guys, which is CAT, and it'll get you a little bit of money off. And let them know that I sent you. All their information will be down below in my description. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of background information before I hop straight into the story about one of my crazy co-workers, so you guys can kind of get an idea of the setup, the scenario, what was going down. The Sephora that I applied to and started working at back last September was going to be a brand new Sephora, and I was really excited to apply because I'm like, okay, everybody's going to be new, which is great for me because as I've gotten older, my social anxiety has gotten like super heavy, so I really don't like meeting new people. But I've always wanted to work at Sephora, and so when I saw them on like the job listing website, I definitely wanted to apply. I was nervous about it, but I still wanted to work there because it has always been a dream of mine. Pretty much I worked at Sephora as a seasonal employee from September, right before the store opened, up until March 1st, which was the seasonal employees official termination date. And I don't even think I went in on my last day. I think I was in like Atlanta turning up with like Yunny. So don't be like me, guys. Put work first, or at least kind of let them know you're not gonna make it. Even though I skipped work on that last day, I absolutely love Sephora. The management there was pretty pleasant. I had no issues with them. Sephora as a company really like takes care of their clients, and they take care of their employees as well. So just working under Sephora was amazing to me, and I would love to go work for them again in the future, just not at that same location. And that's because a lot of my co-workers there, or my fellow cast members, were just crazy, salty, and jealous. Pretty much when I started working there, like my first day, the store, like I said, hadn't even opened yet, and we were just kind of stocking stuff, putting makeup in place, setting up things for the grand opening. The girls there had already met each other because me as a seasonal worker, I didn't get to train with the full-time and part-time employees that they had hired. It's like, oh my god, they're gonna be so clicked up. And when I got there, they were pretty much so clicked up. So everybody else was so cliquish and staring me up and down like they had already knew me and had already felt some type of way about me. But we're gonna say that for another day. Pretty much from that day forward at Sephora, that first impression of everyone there made me really keep to myself. Like I said, I was polite, I spoke to people, I had conversations with people, but in general, I never ever wanted to get clicky with anybody. That was not my goal there. So about 2 months into me working there, around like the holiday season, we needed a little bit more seasonal help. So they hired 2 more seasonal employees. One girl, which was super nice, super friendly. The second employee they hired, which we're gonna call her Kelly, so rude, so salty, so mean, so nasty, because she was just, from what I heard, that way with everyone. Like a lot of days she would come to work with an attitude and people would literally be like, what's the problem? I'm like, I don't know the bitch. So she was just a negative Nancy. Like, she was just nasty. So the first day I met Kelly was like her first official day working at Sephora, like with the rest of us. So they put her up on the register for her first day just because they said that she had to learn to register. Like every employee should know how to work a register, right? The like cash wrap lead told me, she was like, hey, I'm gonna go on my lunch, but Kathryn, if Kelly needs any help, definitely help her out and show her what to do. So once the cash wrap lead leaves for lunch, it's just me and Kelly up there, and clients are steadily coming. So I'm checking people out, and I noticed that Kelly is just stuck with one client. So I kind of look over to make sure she's doing everything okay, because it was her first day on the job. So I was like, I'm not gonna bother her, I'm just gonna let her kind of go with the flow. So when it was time for her to put the client's stuff in a bag, she couldn't find the bags because we had like ran out where they're usually kept. So I was like, oh, they're back here. Turned around, showed her. She didn't say thank you, she didn't say anything. She just grabbed the bag and kept doing what she was doing. I didn't think anything of it in that moment. I knocked the line down. It was just me and Kelly kind of standing up there, and she was just looking around, wouldn't look at me, wouldn't say to me. So the nice person that I was, I tapped on her because her back was kind of towards me. So she turned around. I was like, hi, I'm Kathryn. Nice to meet you. She says, oh, okay. So I'm just kind of standing there like, okay, well, you know, hi. In my head, I'm just like damn, okay. So not too long after that, my lead actually came back, and then she moved Kelly to a different part of the store to train somewhere else. So I was happy because I didn't have to interact with her nasty ass hands. So a few weeks roll by, and I really don't see Kelly at work again. If I do see her, it's in passing. I speak, that's it. So I get to work one day, and the way Sephora works is that if you come in with makeup on you, you have to go to like a manager and kind of claim it as yours. So I go to the back to get my little NARS lip gloss like checked in or scribed or whatever, and the only manager back there at the time is one that happens to be on her lunch break eating. So I really didn't want to bother her, but at the same time I needed to let somebody know that I brought that in with me so I wouldn't get in trouble later on. So I go to the manager that was back there. I'm like, hey, I know you're eating, I'm sorry, but when you get a chance, can you scribe this for me? She's really nice, and she says, okay, Kat, so how long have you had this gloss? As I'm talking to this manager who's asking me about my NARS lip gloss, guess who decides to chime in? Kelly. So as soon as I say I got it at Sephora inside JCPenney, Kelly chimes in and says, you still wearing it? And the manager that has the gloss in her hand is just like, damn, Kat, she just came for you, girl. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. So I was finna say some real mean out of respect to the manager that was sitting there. So I was like, let me just stay cool, calm, and collected. So I turned to Kelly. I just opened it a few weeks ago, so it should be fine. Then Kelly's like, oh, because I was gonna say. What were you gonna say? Like, it's not your body, it's not your lip gloss, it's not your mouth. Like, why do you care? And why do you feel the need to comment on a conversation that's not being had with you? So the third encounter that I had with Kelly was also very negative, and it happened to be the very next day. Since we were at a new store, like I told you guys, my store director, which is like the general manager of the store, was just always super excited that we had a new store and was always like bringing food. So she brought Chick-fil-A some days, Panera some days, and this particular day she brought barbecue from the commissary. And I only had commissary like one time before that, so I definitely wanted to try the food. My manager had gotten ribs, chicken wings, shoulder meat, I think it was like some potato salad. I think maybe I'm making stuff up in my head. I definitely know there was some banana pudding there, baked beans. It was a lot of food. So I was like, I'm going to get a little bit of just the stuff that I would normally eat, just to see how it is, because I had never had all this food from commissary before. All I had was their barbecue nachos. So I'm finna make my plate. I was like, I don't think I want any shoulder, but I'm going to give me one rib, which is what I got. I got me one chicken wing. I got me like a few spoonfuls of baked beans, and that's all that I had on my plate. You could literally still see the bottom of my fucking plate, to be honest with you guys. Like, I wasn't finna fucking chow down because there was no more seats left in the break room because everybody was back there grubbing. I was gonna have to stand up and eat, and I didn't want to have a full plate of food. So I just got a little bit here and there, like I said, so I could try the food. Of course, guess who's back there again and has some to say. So as I'm, you know, scooping on banana pudding, because I love banana pudding, like most of the time people really can't that up, so I was like, let me get a good little amount of this, but still not too much. So Kelly walks up beside me. Apparently she's in line waiting now, and I'm like, girl, you've been back here this whole time and now you decide to jump up and get your food. Okay. So as I'm scooping on the banana pudding, don't you think that's a little much? I was just trying to look out for you. For what? Like, every encounter that I've had with you has been negative. For her to say that she just wants to look out for me was the most disingenuous thing I have ever heard in my life. You don't like me. I don't think you like anybody here, but you specifically have targeted me. You trying to look out for me. Obviously she was just being funny. Not to mention I was already being tested that day because there was some rumors about me going around the workhouse. So y'all, I really had to pray. So my fourth and last encounter with Kelly while I was working at Sephora was one day I was out on the floor. Like I told you guys, I was a cash register cashier. There you go, I was a cashier. So I pretty much stayed behind the cash register unless my manager just told me to get my ass out on the floor. So that was one of those days when my manager said, Kathy, get your ass out on the floor. So I got my ass out on the floor. And a client asked me to put some NARS concealer on her, which I didn't have a brush belt on, and I didn't feel comfortable putting makeup on clients yet, just because I hadn't been trained on it. I wanted to be within Sephora's guidelines, so I wanted to pass her over onto another cast member of mine. So pretty much anyone that I wanted to pretty much give this client to was busy with another client. The only person that was free was Kelly. So I woke up to Kelly, and before I could even approach her and say that a client in NARS needs her help, she says,
"Oh, I've been wanting to ask you, how do you keep your foundation so matte?"
And I was like, well, I use a mattifying primer and a mattifying foundation. I said, but if you have like super oily skin, I heard that if you set every single layer with translucent powder, like you set your face, do your foundation, then set it, then do your concealer, then set it. And basically her response to me is that,
"Wouldn't that clog your pores? Because it looks like your pores are clogged."
So I'm just kind of like, okay. I just reply, I'm like, actually, I don't have a problem with my pores clogging.
"Oh, okay."
The nasty, oh, okay. So basically, we're just kind of staring at each other, and I say, well, anyway, there's a client over in NARS that needs some help. I'm not wearing a brush belt, so you should be able to help her, you know, since you're wearing a brush belt, whatever, whatever. She's like,
"Okay."
And she walks out to help the client, and then I just go do whatever I was doing. Okay, so after that, I didn't see Kelly anymore at work, and if I did see her, I probably just didn't speak to her. You keep coming for me, you keep coming at me sideways. Like, let me just separate myself so that I don't give you the response that you're kind of looking for. I told you guys my last day at Sephora was March 1st. Well, on April 28th, when I had forgotten all about Sephora, I get a DM on Instagram from Kelly. The message said, when I opened it,
"Hey girl, you still work at Sephora?"
Question mark. So I say, hey, and nope, not currently. Wow, what's up? Like, she didn't message me back to the following morning, but it says,
"Nothing. I remember someone talking about you, and I never knew names or got to know anyone.
The first time I met you, I introduced myself to you, and then you continue to come for me. You knew who the f I was." Then she said,
"But now I know who they were talking about. They're just saying Kathryn has 250K YouTube subs. Nothing bad, just saying."
Then she sends another message and says,
"Just saying, hey."
And I reply, oh, okay. Like, I have nothing to say to you. Now, since you know I have 250 subs or however many I had at the time, like, you want to be cordial and slide in my DMs. And, you know, when I got the DM, I wasn't working at Sephora anymore. So looking back, I'm very glad that I just kept it, like, short and sweet and just kind of, you know, told her to fuck off without telling her to fuck off. I'm glad that I kept my Twitter fingers under control and just kind of deaded it there. So that is the story time about my Sephora cast member slash co-worker. Hope you ladies enjoyed this story time. Definitely be sure to vote in the poll what you want to see next. Leave your thoughts, comments, feelings about this story time down below. Let's get the conversation popping, and I will see you ladies in my next video.